The other day, someone suggested that I make a video, like a lightning round, of all the things that irk me about Walt Disney World. And I thought, you know what? Today's the perfect day for that. Everyone needs to vent every now and again. So that's what we're gonna do. We're here at Epcot, and I'm gonna share with you 11 things that irk me about the Walt Disney World experience. 11 because there are 11 countries around World Showcase. And look, before we get into it, some of you need to calm down already. We haven't even started. You're already getting all ugh. I'm entitled to my own opinions. I'm entitled to have thoughts and feelings, and so are you, all right? So cool your jets, 1984. All right, number one, as we make our way over to World Showcase, I think we're gonna do a lap today. It only seems right. Bullies. I mean, this should irk everyone, right? But I feel like there's a disproportionate number of bullies centered around the Walt Disney World experience. From the second you start planning, people are like, this is how you have to do it. That's how you have to do it. I'm looking at you, Facebook. And it's not just that, you know, like people being pushy about how you're supposed to enjoy Disney, but it's also like people being just flat out mean when you share your experience and things that you learned during your trip that might help other people because it caught you off guard. You know, people are really quick to be like, that's because you're stupid. And I'm not talking about me. I know we've had conversations about like some negative things that have been said on the channel recently, but I'm talking about you guys who have reached out to me, some of whom have been flat out bullied out of Facebook groups for just talking about the things that have happened to you and how that problem was resolved. And it's not cool, man. But it doesn't stop at that either. You know, like it extends beyond the planning process, even right here in the parks, believe it or not, but it happens. And then when you get home, you know, it happens as well. I wish people, if they just weren't happy, they would just keep their mouths shut about it. I'm not talking about little criticisms, but like, why do you have to bully other people? Because they don't agree with you, you know, like force them into submission. It says more about you than it does about them. Anyway, let's move on. They're not all this deep, you know, they're not all this negative, but I'm just being honest, man. Number two on our list as we make our way over into Norway. And let me tell you, this one is gonna go right up some people's skirt, and honestly has gotten me so much hate over the years, but I'm saying it again. The lack of shade and benches at Walt Disney World as a whole. That should not be controversial, but alas, it is. If you ever needed proof that the decision makers at Disney don't actually spend time in the theme parks, at least not here at the Walt Disney World Resort, it's the lack of shade and the lack of benches. Because it's like they forgot that this park or this entire resort is located in Florida. It's hot. It's big. People come here with their entire family, which means grandma, grandpa, kids. They need a place to sit that isn't the ground, which is like the only place to be in the shade right now. And look, I'm gonna get ahead of some of you right now, because I can already hear it. I've been here before. It's not because people are fat and lazy, okay? It's because it's hot. It cracks triple digits way too often here to not have more shade. And this place is huge. I can pull 20 miles at the Walt Disney World Resort if I do a whole day. 20 miles. Think about that. There should be a place to sit that isn't a curb. We're in China for this next one. And I gotta be real with you, this one cuts deep, okay? Goofy's ice cream bar. I don't know when it happened, but Disney took this away from me. And I have never been the same. I know some of you are like, Mickey Premium Bars, where is that, right? Like that's the OG, but no. No. Real ones, no. It was Goofy's ice cream bar. All right, admittedly, I say real ones, and I don't know what that means. But look at this relic we found from a different time. Well, it won't open. But it's still here, hiding in the back of China. Is it too late to add something to the list? I have 11 listed out, so I don't want to like mess that up, but here's an honorable mention. Interactive games. It irks me that Disney kind of did away with interactive games. All right, I gotta think more about that one, but let's keep moving on. Making our way over to the refreshment outpost for this next one. This isn't technically a country. I don't think it counts as one of the 11, but it does have shade and tables, especially this early in the morning. So that's where we're headed for number 4. I've already lost track. Oh, hold on. Looks like the truck is gone. Now it's just concrete. At least it's decorative concrete. All right, let's go find a spot in the shade. Where were we? Oh, yeah. Number 4. Black curtains. Black curtains. This could honestly be number 1. quite frankly. Like, this irks the heck out of me. Now, I don't know if all of you who are hanging out with me today know it, but there are some attractions here at Walt Disney World that have been like chopped off at the knees. They're half the attraction that they were, and it's all thanks to black curtains. And I mean, this probably happened because of like a combination of budget cuts and lack of creativity, right? But at one point in time, in Disney's infinite wisdom, and yes, I put this on Imagineers, bean counters, everybody, everyone's responsible. They thought, you know what would be a good plan? Rather than updating this, rather than fixing it, just put a black curtain up. They won't be able to see what's behind the curtain. We probably won't have to remove any of it. I mean, put some twinkly lights maybe, that'll solve the problem. This has happened not only at Journey into Imagination with Figment, but also, and probably the most egregious example, Spaceship Earth. Yeah, the attraction for this park, the icon of this park. And look, there's always a million excuses as to why this would happen. People have their reasons to legitimize these decisions. None of them are good in my opinion. If the money's not there, find it. There's way too many people on the payroll to not be able to work that out. And if a struggling family can figure out how to crunch numbers and stretch a dollar, I'm sure that Disney can too. And you know, if it's a matter of creativity, I don't know, consult the local high school drama club. You'd be amazed at how much they do with how little they have. And honestly, if they can pull off being resourceful and figuring out how to make something out of nothing that looks as stupendous as some of these high school drama club productions can be, Disney can do it. I will die on that hill. Moving right along toward the Italy Pavilion, we were just in Germany a second ago, kind of on the outskirts of Germany. It didn't smell like caramel popcorn today, which was very disappointing, but that's okay, you know, you can't have everything. All right, next up, number 5, the lack of live performers that are present in this current era of Walt Disney World. Now, I see this from two separate sides, right? Like, on one hand, it's frustrating, it irks me that there isn't more live entertainment, there aren't more live performers like Streetmosphere and whatnot here at Walt Disney World, because I think that it has a function in the parks, you know what I mean? Like, it's there for a reason, not just to entertain guests, but to give them something to do in certain areas that can move crowds around. Like, it's a crowd control thing. And we've talked about this before, but also it's something being offered to guests, which is great, and it's awesome. There should be more of it in the parks regardless. But as someone who had a background in performing arts and wasn't like a traditional body type for a classically trained ballerina, which is what I was, places like Walt Disney World were a place that people like me could find work doing this thing that we loved. And yes, it was still cutthroat, and you still had to be an amazing performer, you had to be good at what you did, but it was another option, and there are never enough options for entertainers, at least not in my opinion. Though it's admittedly better now in this world of social media. The world has gotten a little bit bigger, which is nice, but still, it kind of irks me that Disney has kind of stepped away from that being something that they do as much as they used to. Number 6 on our list. Some of the dads out there aren't gonna like, but I can almost guarantee that they're not watching this right now. Or maybe you are, because you just want to stew in all the negativity that you might find. But people, usually dads, just calling it like I see it, who chooses to wear a most expensive day ever t-shirt or something along the lines of, I didn't want to be here. Look, I'm a pretty easygoing person. I think you should enjoy the parks however you want to enjoy the parks. I don't judge. But if you're wearing one of these shirts at the parks, especially if you're a family, I am judging you hard. And I'm going to tell you why, okay? If you're wearing one of these shirts, without a doubt, you're one of those people who has been a problem since that family member, whoever they were, brought up that they wanted to do a Disney vacation with a family. No question in my mind that that's your attitude. You complained about the price, you complained about the heat, you complained about the options, all of that, even before you got here. The whole planning process was miserable for your spouse, for your family. No one was happy the whole time, almost guaranteed. But rather than like embracing the joy that your family might want to aim to experience, you know, you decided to spend $25 to $30 on this stupid t-shirt that you're gonna wear in the parks so that your family members will have a reminder forever of just how difficult you were. It's like right up there at the top of the list of most disrespectful things you can do, not only for your spouse, but for your kids. Ooh. And I don't just say this all on assumption. I've also seen it play out in real time. You know what I mean? Like the guy wearing the shirt who goes up to the bar and orders a Bud Light and then complains about how expensive the Bud Light is. Like it wouldn't be expensive anywhere else, like at a racetrack or a football game or any other place that you would buy this thing that you could buy at a gas station, but you're doing it at a tourist attraction or a major event, and so it's going to be upcharged. Like this isn't news to anybody. You're just complaining to complain. So yeah. All right, I got a refill. We're going to do that down the way, and then let's keep moving. All right, we're in Japan for, is it number 7 on our list? Before we get into it though, 2 things. Number 1, yes, my condition continues to get worse and worse as time goes on. I am just sweating up a storm. I probably have said that 1,000 times already today, but you couldn't tell. Oh look, another ancient relic from the before times. Does this one open? It does. There's nothing in there though. But also, I have had some people ask about this thing that I say every now and again, that Russ and I used to live in Japan, and we're gonna get to that. We're gonna like have a whole day where we talk about it. Today is not that day. I thought that it might be. I thought that after a lap of World Showcase, maybe we could come back here and grab some lunch and chat, but it's just not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. Either way though, soon. So stay tuned. And if you have any questions about like me as like a little bit of an ask me anything, pop them in the comments and I'll include that, you know? And get to know me a little bit better. Seems like fun. But anyway, back to our list. So this one, it's not always a problem, but when it is, it irks me. And that is a lack of attraction-specific merchandise. I want there to be attraction-specific merchandise for all of the major attractions in the parks. I want a t-shirt when I conquer Big Thunder, or when I finally coax my dad on Tower of Terror, you know? And sometimes you can find it, sometimes you can't. Disney's been getting a little bit better at it, so credit where credit's due, but every once in a while there's like a dry spell, you know? And I don't know, that kind of irks me a little bit. I feel like there should be more consistency, but let me know what you guys think. We're gonna stay put for this next one. I'm actually gonna grab a snack out of another one of these containers. Russ bought me this one because Bingo's my favorite, and I love these containers. Actually, one of you, I think, recommended the one with the 3rd compartment. Anyway, this is another thing about guests that kind of irks me. There's not a lot, honestly, that bothers me that other people do. Generally speaking, I'm pretty chill about how people conduct themselves in the parks. I realize that they're in a place that they're unfamiliar with. Sometimes they're overwhelmed, you know, but this is one of those things that, it gets to me, you know? Even when I'm trying to be as understanding as I can be. Power walkers, you know, the people who walk way ahead of the rest of their party, who turn around and scream at their family members, regardless who's in their path. When I tell you I have resisted the urge to scream back in their face as their hot breath, ugh, I don't even want to think about it. I just kind of feel like it's 2025. We have one of these. Almost everyone here does, you know? You can just ping, ping, ping if you happen to lose your party, but you can also just walk with your party. That's a fantastic option. Or if they happen to have just fallen behind, which sometimes happens, you just pull off the side of the path and wait for them. That's a great option too. But I feel as though I shouldn't have to feel you asking them if they want a Mickey bar. You know what I mean? Welcome to Morocco for number 8 on our list. We're actually gonna dip into here because this is a great place to catch some AC and learn a little bit about racing, which is one of my favorite things. You know, initially, this item on our list was gonna be the Magic Kingdom parking lot because it just irks me, just in general. But as I was making my way through Morocco, I saw some pin trading, and that got me thinking about something that irks me even more. So I'm crossing the Magic Kingdom parking lot off the list. Sorry, Russ, because that was one that you contributed. Don't know what to tell you. And I'm adding this. When cast members, brace yourself. I know no one ever likes when I say anything about cast members, but there's good and bad in everything. When they poach pins off the pin trading board, you know, like you're standing in line to trade, you're seeing someone ahead of you trade a pin, you're like, oh, I'm gonna trade for that one, but the cast member yoinks it and puts it in the back. We've seen that happen a few times, and that irks me, because that's not how pin trading is supposed to work. And I don't know if there's a policy in place that makes this a thing, but one way or another, I don't like it. By the way, if you're wondering what that noise is, it's this little simulator where you're driving through the dunes as part of this women's off-road race. This is such a cool area. If you haven't been here in the Morocco Pavilion, I highly recommend it. Not enough people stop in here. If you're a fan of automotive anything, you're a fan of racing, and you want to learn a little bit more about women in racing, definitely check it out. By the way, that was number 9. I guess I forgot how to count. So we're going into number 10, and it's actually kind of related to that in a way. I should probably be a little bit more specific when I simply say that it's related to that, because this isn't about the inability to count. It's about, whoa, sorry about that. It's about racing, like automotive stuff. It kind of irks me that Disney seems to be eliminating stuff for the dads. Now I say that knowing that it's not only dads who enjoy this stuff. I'm one of those people who would fall into the category of dads in this case. But it seems like Disney is slowly removing anything for anyone that doesn't have a very specific interest in Disney. I've called this the poofy dressification of the Walt Disney World Resort in the past, and I think that's a good way to put it. You know, we could probably have a whole discussion on this topic. We probably should. Maybe we will. So let me know what your thoughts are when it comes to this. I'll kind of process that right along with everything that's been bopping around my head, but it just seems like with every passing year we're eliminating more of the things that would appeal to like another dynamic of the people that we're traveling with. Eliminating things like the driving experiences, which happened over at the racetrack, which is now part of the Magic Kingdom parking lot. Maybe that's why I'm irked so much. But also removing other more, let's call it masculine experiences, even though I don't like saying it like that, because there are feminine people who enjoy those masculine experiences. Again, I'm one of them, so just, you know, bear with me as I try to navigate this topic. But, you know, like removing the ESPN club, the cigar shop is gone, things like that, you know? Like things that one person in your family really looked forward to every vacation. It was outside of what they would normally do at home, you know? I mean, we could even lump the Pirate League in here too. Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique is back to some extent, but Pirate League, gone. Same thing with the Jedi thing at Hollywood Studios. I don't remember the name of that experience, so bear with me, but it's like Princess is thumbs up, everyone else thumbs down. It's too bad, you know, because it makes Disney feel like an experience that's more geared toward a very specific crowd, you know, the poofy dressification of the Disney experience. And that kind of irks me, because there are people who are into that poofy dress thing, but there are also a lot of them who aren't. And I feel like there should be something for those people too. And I don't know, feels like there isn't. Maybe moving forward there will be. We'll just have to wait and see. And finally, the last item on my list, I can't believe we made it. This is number 11. We just passed by France, but it's a little crowded. So we're gonna make our way down to my favorite secret-y spot where we can hopefully get some shade. The seeming elimination of the graveyard shift, or whatever they call the graveyard shift here at the Walt Disney World Resort. Third shift, whatever. People working through the night and not during the day when the park is open to day guests. Now, just like some of the other things we've talked about today, there are 2 reasons that I'm irked by this. The first is because I think it sucks for cast members. Look, I'm not gonna sit here and pretend that it doesn't suck to work into the evening, you know, like once the sun has gone down. But as someone who worked a job where I was doing a lot of physical labor, in this sucks too. And again, it's Florida, it's hot. So if you can be working when it's 80 degrees as opposed to when it's 110, seems like a better plan, Seems like you're wanting better conditions for the people who are working for you, even though you're probably paying them time and a half or whatever the laws are. So I can see why you're not doing that. But here's the thing, it also sucks when it comes to guest experience as well. And for a second there, I was like, sucks is kind of a strong word, but I'm sticking to it. Because not only is it loud and annoying from time to time, but when you eliminate that shift, you make it so that certain work doesn't happen. In a nutshell, there's just too much to be done than can be done without having the shift. Things like cleaning the park, picking up trash, so that guests can ultimately enjoy the park without having to work around the garbage that was left behind the night before, which is a problem, especially here at Epcot. Now this is the point where someone usually says, well, there aren't enough cast members because Disney made cuts and they haven't hired anybody. Absolutely, absolutely. And that's part of the problem. I'm acknowledging that. And that's part of why this irks me. There need to be enough people to maintain these parks during the hours that they're open, or, wild idea, adjustments need to be made. Basic business. If you can't maintain the park, oh my God, trash. If you can't maintain your business, whatever it is, during the hours that it's open, you have to adjust the hours or you have to adjust your business. Basic stuff. Not enough staff? Get more staff. Can't get more staff? Adjust the hours. Can't do either of those things? Adjust attendance. It's really the same kind of thing that every business has to navigate, so it's always confusing to me that Disney can't seem to figure that out. Anyway, those are 11 things, actually kind of 11 and a half, that irk me about the Walt Disney World experience. Of course, I'd love to hear your thoughts, so pop them in a comment down below. I gotta be honest with you, I'm amazed that I haven't completely melted into a puddle right in front of your eyes. I know it looks like I'm close, but all one piece. But yeah, let me know your thoughts, share them in a comment, and don't forget, it's not that serious. It's just me talking about things that I'm thinking about. You're probably thinking about things too, and I want to know about them. So again, do your thing. But anyway, for now, I'm off. Thanks so much for hanging out, and I'll see you guys soon. Until then, bye.